Hello, I'm Tara Brabazon. I'm the Dean of Graduate Research at Flinders University, and welcome to Vlog 96, the final thesis review. This is the fourth instalment in our four-part backward mapping series, and yes, Hector is joining us for the last time. And this is really like the Doors, this is the end installment in this series. You know, like that long track, this is the end. This is the final bit, and like that track, it never actually seems to end, but yes it does, because today is the day where we discuss the completion, how you get to the ending of your PhD. So yes, this milestone is about reporting your completion of the doctorate, or you're close to completion of the doctorate. You should be within weeks at this point. So we're going to talk about how to report that completion with a lot of attention to research integrity and academic integrity. But this milestone is a real problem if your thesis is not close to completion. You're not there, and you're not thereabouts. So this vlog is going to present the best case scenario. So you finished your PhD, or you're just about finished the PhD, and you're reporting the backward mapping and the success of that completion. That's terrific. But we're also going to the other side too. And this is where it is actually incredibly important. For those of you that haven't finished in 3 years and you're not necessarily there or thereabouts, this milestone, this vlog, is perhaps the most important intervention that I can offer you to get you home. Putting it another way, when you're in the middle of hell, you've got to keep walking. So if you're in the middle of hell, you don't stop and go, oh wow, it's really hot in here, hey. So if you're in the middle of thesis hell, don't stop and go, wow, how did I get here? You need to keep walking, you need the momentum, and this milestone will get you there. So if you stay in hell, you will burn. And so this milestone gets that momentum back for you and gets that movement back for you. And it also explores the help that is available and the university systems and structures that are available for you to enable change, enable completion. So this is really the Jedi moment of our milestone series. The good side of the Force, yes, you know, you're just about finished, this is terrific, a great story to tell, and I want you to tell that story and claim your success. But it's also the dark side of the Force. You haven't completed, and what are you going to do now? Now we're going to address both those in this vlog, but let's start with the easy stuff first, basically the reporting that's part of all milestones. So yes, you must list and talk about the professional development that you've done in the last year. A lot of it at this point will be about internships, it may be with employer engagement, industry engagement, all of that's terrific, please report that. You're also reporting the completed chapters, the completed elements of your research, also the presentations that you have enacted. So for those of you that are unicorns, big hi to all the unicorns out there, and you have completed in 3 years, or you're within the finishing line of 3 months to go, this is a moment of achievement. And through this milestone, I want you to claim it. This milestone is a privilege. You are reporting success because the backward mapping has worked. So yes, report any publications that you've enacted, conference presentations, and also, and this is quite significant, I think, we've actually done a separate vlog on this. It was the one I did in the egg chair, but there's also tell us what you're going to do during the examination period. So that will be 8 weeks to 12 weeks while your examination is in place. Start to talk about the publications and the dissemination strategies that you're going to enact while the thesis is under examination. So this is, if you like, backward mapping from one project to another. So you've got your thesis, but your thesis is really the foundation for the next step of your career. So in this milestone, talk about that next step and start to backwardly map how you're going to get there from the thesis to the next stage. I've always said every project that we do has the kernel, has the seed of the next project within it. So your PhD may be finished, but there's something there that will hook out to the next stage of your career. So use this success, use this successful completion of your PhD as the foundation for your next step, and start the backward mapping again. So at this stage, for the successful people that are actually got there in 3 years, there are 2 things you have to do for us, particularly that are important: academic integrity and research integrity. So academic integrity is assessing the calibre of your note-taking and your capacity to reference with effectiveness. So Turnitin is a proxy, it's a bit of software, it's a bit of interface management that shows whether or not you've referenced correctly. So it's incredibly important at this late stage that you put your thesis through Turnitin, and if some odd or aberrant results emerge, then please come and see me in the Office of Graduate Research, talk with your supervisor, because it needs to be addressed before you are examined. Now, research integrity is also an incredibly important one, and I would argue increasingly important. We're just starting to see this discussion in the literature at the moment. So if you've written publications that are part of your thesis in some form, or collaborative research, as a lot of us do, collaborative research in some form has manifested in your thesis, you will, at the point of submission, have to confirm authorship of every part of your thesis. And this is really significant, I believe, because we need confirmation that it is your work, your research, because after all, it's your name that's on the degree certificate. The examiner is assessing your research, and they need a guarantee that what they are assessing is your research. That's research integrity. So you need to be very, very clear and transparent about authorship. Remove all ambiguity at this point. You do not want this bouncing back during your examination process. And yes, we do see bounces from examiners, where examiners say, I'm not sure what I'm examining here. I've done this myself. I'm not sure what I'm examining here. Who's the author of this chapter, of chapter 3? Well, if I can't confirm that this person has written that thesis, then I can't examine it, particularly without an oral exam in a lot of Australian universities, which can confirm your authorship. We don't have that luxury at Flinders. So the examiners must see on your thesis script itself that it is your work, and they can confirm that. Okay, so all that's positive, that's terrific. Well done, team, for getting that thesis through. One of the great achievements of your life. Brill. Okay. Let's now go to the dark side of the force. You're doing the final milestone, and you haven't finished. You're not within cooee distance. So what do you need to do? Okay. Firstly and importantly, you need to report on the work that you have completed. So this is great. List the chapters that you've completed, the draft iterations, talk about the presentations that you've enacted, your archival work, your experiments, talk about the research and data sets that you have completed. Show the milestones from the mid-candidature report and show how many of those you've actually achieved. So well done. You're reporting success. That's brilliant. Do that. Now, you must list the work that is yet to be completed. And please, please, please be honest here. If you lie at this point, you're only lying to yourself. Let us help you be honest. So after you list the tasks that are yet to be completed, put a time on each of those tasks. How long will it take to complete that? So you can use whatever you like. I know people love Gantt charts. Bless you, knock yourself out with the Gantt chart. There's all sorts of fantastic apps at the moment for both time management and project management. They're all great. Use that if it helps you. But the key is be honest. You've got to be honest at this point. This is the only way we're going to get you home. List the problems. Now, some of these may be technical, so the samples didn't arrive on time. Okay, you can't do anything if the samples aren't there. I get that. There may be some personal issues, the 3Ds, death, divorce, disability. Okay, log that. They may be professional, so something's happened in the context around your work. So log those issues. But there is a difference between logging those issues and making excuses. If I'm honest, I know the students that are not going to finish their PhDs pretty well from the start because they make excuses. They don't actually look in the mirror and go, this is what's happened, this is what I've done to create this situation, and this is how I'm going to fix it. That honesty will always get you home. If it's always somebody else's fault, and there are excuses after excuses after excuses, you have to stop that behaviour, or else you will not finish. So what you need to do is log the issues and the challenges. Don't make excuses. So state, this is the reality of this moment of my PhD. This is what is required to get this thesis to examination. And there is a truth that I use a lot in my life, that we achieve what we focus on. I'll say that again. We achieve what we focus on. So if you focus on your completion, so I am going to complete this PhD, then that focus will actually get you there. But if you're focusing on the process, if you're focusing on the problems, if you're focusing on the excuses, then you're not going to get there. Your focus is not on the completion. So everything at this point must be on the completion. The other maxim that I use that comes from my wonderful 87-year-old mother Doris, hi Doris, is if you want a different outcome, you've got to do something differently. If you want a different outcome, you've got to do something differently. So once you've listed all the work that you're going to complete, then you need to come up with a strategy. Now, you haven't finished yet. So what you've been doing hasn't been working, or else you would have finished. So if you want a different outcome, you have to do something differently. So your schedule might have to change. You have to look at how you do time and manage time each day, and something may have to change. In fact, it will have to change to create a change in behaviour. Also, and this is a strategy that works incredibly well, your partner may have to do some heavy lifting for a period of time. I always say, and you've heard me say, it takes a family to complete a PhD. Well, my goodness me, in the final 2, 3, 4, 5 months, the family is going to be needed to do the heavy lifting so you can bring this home. So the questions for you to consider at this point to report in this milestone are, how are you going to do those final experiments? What is stopping you? List that, list the barriers and the solutions to enact them. How are you going to enact that final slab of reading, and what is stopping you? And when are you going to do that final slab of writing to completion? And what is stopping you? Now, I've had a lot of students in my office, which is just behind the camera, in the last couple of weeks. It's been a fascinating series of conversations where the students are behind and they're worried about their writing. This is from the hard lab-based sciences right through to the creative humanities. So I'm actually going to do a standalone vlog on this, I think, because it's becoming such an issue. But the bottom line is, get the words on the page, team. Get the words on the page. At the moment, and it's amazing, for the sciences to the humanities, I'm getting all these wonderful students in the office who are behind saying, oh look, I'm writing a sentence and then I'm deleting it and I'm editing it and oh, I don't think it's good enough. Team, just write the first draft. Don't delete, don't edit, no judgment, slam the words down. Get to the first draft. And once you've got that first quick and dirty draft, get the draft done. Once that first draft is done, then we can do that 10 draft system that we enact in my office with my students to improve the quality of the draft. But you've got to get to the first draft stage. That's the biggie. Also explain in this milestone what you're going to change, because you haven't finished, so something is going to have to change to ensure that you do. And tell us about that, and once you do, we can enact all the support structures around you to enable that change. Wow, well thank you so much for being with me through this backward mapping journey. I think Hector has been important because I think he's reminded us all about the importance of time, that a PhD is not your life, it's a period of your life that ends, so you can get on with the next stage, with the next level, with your next series of achievements. So with backward mapping, the PhD is a great moment of your life, and that moment passes to enable the next stage of your career. From beautiful Flinders University, I wish you love, light and peace. Tea out.